By the time Mehmed returned to the Ottoman throne in 1451, he was no longer the uncertain boy who had once been removed from power. He was 19 years old, young in years, but frighteningly old in ambition. Europe underestimated him. They saw a teenager. What they failed to see was a mind that had been preparing for this moment since childhood. Mehmed did not rush into war. He observed, he calculated, and above all he remembered. From his tutors, he remembered ancient prophecies. From Roman history, he remembered how empires fell not from strength, but from arrogance. And from his own humiliation as a child sultan, he remembered one lesson above all others. Power is never given. It is taken deliberately. Constantinople was not just a city, it was an idea. For over 1,000 years, it had survived sieges, invasions, and the collapse of empires around it. Massive walls, layered defenses, and a strategic position between continents made it appear untouchable. Many had tried to take it. All had failed. Mehmed did not ask if it could be conquered. He asked how. And the answer, he believed, lay not in tradition, but in innovation. The young sultan began with something no previous Ottoman ruler had dared to rely on so heavily: technology. He summoned engineers, metallurgists, and weapons makers from across his lands and beyond. Among them was a Hungarian cannon master who claimed he could build a weapon large enough to shatter walls once thought eternal. Mehmed listened. Then he funded him. What emerged was unlike anything the world had seen before. Giant cannons capable of firing stone balls, weighing hundreds of kilograms. These weapons were slow. They were difficult to move, but they carried a message louder than any army. The age of walls was ending. Mehmed understood that Constantinople survived not because of its walls alone, but because of its access to the sea. So he did something bold. Directly across from an older Ottoman fortress on the Bosphorus, he ordered the construction of a new one, Rumeli Hisara. It was built with terrifying speed. Within months, the strait was under Ottoman control. No ship could pass without Mehmed's permission. Constantinople was no longer a city connected to the world. It was becoming an island. Inside the city, fear grew. The Byzantine emperor knew the walls could not withstand this new kind of warfare forever. But surrender was unthinkable. For Mehmed, this was not just conquest. It was destiny. He had studied the legends. He knew the hadith that spoke of a leader who would one day take the city. And in his heart, he believed that leader was him. When the siege began in April 1453, the earth itself seemed to tremble. Day after day, the cannons roared. Stones crashed into ancient walls. Centuries-old defenses cracked under modern force. But Constantinople did not fall easily. The defenders fought desperately. They repaired walls overnight. They prayed. They resisted. Weeks passed. Mehmed watched patiently. He understood something many commanders did not. A siege is as much psychological as it is physical. Then came the move that shocked the world. The Byzantines believed the Golden Horn was safe, protected by a massive chain that blocked enemy ships. Mehmed did not break the chain. He went around it. Under the cover of night, Ottoman forces dragged ships over greased logs, across hills, and into the Golden Horn itself. When morning came, the defenders awoke to an impossible sight. The enemy fleet was behind their defenses. Hope cracked. On May 29th, 1453, Mehmed ordered the final attack. Waves of soldiers advanced. Drums echoed. The city shook. The fighting was brutal, personal, relentless. By sunrise, Ottoman banners flew over the city. Constantinople, the city that had refused to fall, was no more. When Mehmed entered the city, he did not celebrate wildly. He dismounted his horse, he bent down, he touched the ground, and he prayed. He declared the city his new capital, but more importantly, he declared protection. Churches were preserved, scholars were spared, citizens were allowed to live, trade, and worship. The city would not be erased, it would be transformed. Constantinople became Istanbul, the heart of a new empire. After the conquest, Mehmed did not slow down. He reformed laws. He encouraged art, science, and philosophy. He invited thinkers from East and West. He spoke multiple languages. He read Plato and Aristotle. He saw himself not just as a sultan, but as a universal ruler. Rome had fallen. Mehmed believed he was its heir. Fatih Sultan Mehmed died at just 49 years old. But by then, he had changed the course of history. The Middle Ages ended. A new era began. He proved that youth was not weakness, that knowledge could conquer where brute force failed, and that destiny favors those bold enough to prepare for it. But the conquest of Constantinople was not the end of Mehmed's story. It was only the beginning. Because what followed would test his empire, his ideals, and his vision of a world united under one rule. In part 3, we explore the ruler after the conquest, the laws, the wars, and the contradictions of the man who conquered an empire. Stay with us.